Ian, let's continue speaking with you just briefly as we move into what the crux of today's conversation is, and that is the African horse sickness vaccine shortage and the problems that have come around this, which Sheilagh's going to help us navigate. But I think what I would really like to touch base on first is, as so many unaffiliated or non-competitive riders want to know, is why is it important for everyone to be aligned on the African horse sickness vaccine issue? There are a lot of people saying, I don't understand why I need to be vaccinated if I don't compete. There's a lot of people trying to wriggle around why must vets be vaccinated, questions like this. Can you just briefly touch on why this is so important for South Africa?
So I think that first off, it's so important because of disease. So, vaccination and movement control certainly has a huge impact on the incidence of disease. So I'm also on the National Horse Racing Authority board, and the key example I'd mention is Marshall Eagle won the Met, and on the same night his mare mother died of African horse sickness. So we lose much, much more to disease than export will ever bring us. So let's first be clear that we are vaccinating to prevent our horses from getting ill. But then we have a construct of movement control, which, by the way, also impacts on the movement of African horse sickness throughout the country. The movement control and surveillance that we have in place is to protect our Western Cape export zone. In the ideal, so that export zone is principally for the term export. So if we want our top athletes and horses to compete internationally, we need to try and reopen the direct route into Europe and Dubai, and from there to the rest of the world.
And Sheelagh will touch base on that later.
Sheelagh will touch base on that. And indeed, equally, if we ever want to host a major international competition, the only place that we could host it would be Cape Town, and we'd have to create a disease-free zone, basically, to fly in horses that would compete and then leave. So it is a critical feature. I do think in terms of value of horses, certainly the thoroughbreds have got a substantive value once they can be exported. The biggest number of horses that we export are actually endurance horses. And the single highest value horse ever exported was a show jumper. The most valuable horse ever exported was a show jumper. So basically, this is across the board. And if we want our horses to actually compete internationally or to be sold internationally, then we need an export-free African horse.
I think it's also interesting how those high-performance athletes and the export horses, it all trickles down into the economy. So the amount of jobs,
Correct.
I think there was a statistic a while ago, one racehorse supported 37 jobs.
Correct.
And so I think, as you say, it speaks to the entire community.
It is a shrinking business, shrinking population, but the estimates are that it's about 100,000 jobs that are related to horses, which makes the equestrian industry probably, the second or third largest employer in the country.
That's pretty impressive.